Okay, so though it is a issue of 2 months old, but it is very important for any exam in India, including the state services, staff selection commission, even banking also. So statue of equality. So honoring the 1000th birthday of Saint Ramanuja, a Bhakti reformer. Okay, yeah. So when you come to the Bhakti movement, so we have to study this Bhakti movement in 3 stages. Okay, actually, what is the meaning of Bhakti? What is the meaning of Bhakti? So it is the way how you try to please the God, or love towards God, or affection toward God. It is called as Bhakti. We will respect our parents. Of course, I don't know whether you will respect or not, but I will respect my mother as my father is no more. But still, even I used to respect my father with little bit of arguments. Okay, yeah, it is love, affection, or to please the gods is called as the Bhakti. And you know, for the first time, the word Bhakti was mentioned in Svetasvatara Upanishad. Svetasvatara Upanishad. Okay, so these kinds of things are important for any exam in India. Svetasvatara Upanishad, and even the Bhakti was also mentioned in Naradaswati, etc. Okay, now when you come to the first phase of Bhakti movement in India, it was started by Acharya Shankaracharya. Of course, we will also definitely deal with Acharya Shankaracharya next Saturday, definitely. Acharya Shankaracharya. Okay, and of course Madhavacharya and Ramanujacharya. Of course, they are not contemporaries, but still that phase is called as first phase of Bhakti movement. Okay, and these three people are called as the Acharya Thrais. Acharya Thrais. And you know, Shankaracharya's philosophy was like Gautam Buddha. It is the reason why he was called as Prachanna Buddha. Of course, definitely next week I will cover that Acharya Shankaracharya. Okay. Now, what is the reason behind the initiation of this Bhakti movement? See, so for everything, there is a reason which is called as teleology. Even this marker is having its a use, and we are using it to mark on the board. Even chalk piece earlier days chalk piece, later uh, ink markers. Now this sophisticated technology we are using. Even in the LKG also they are using the digital boards in many schools, and even government is planning to make all classes in India digital classes. Of course, it may take time. Who knows? Yes. See, in the first phase of Bhakti, it is not the entry of Islam. Madam Bhagavati garu. Arthamainda? It is not because of entry of Islam. Islam entered in, of course, Islam, the first invader was Muhammad bin Qasim in 712 AD. In that period, because the rule of Muhammad bin Qasim was short-lived. It is like an episode in a TV serial. But the main reason was internal conflicts among the Hinduism. That is Alvars, Nayanars. Alvars are the followers of Vishnu, and Nayanars are the followers of the Shiva. One thing. And the second thing, upper caste and lower caste. Because of the Varnashrama Dharma, you know what is Varnashrama Dharma? That is Chaturvarna system. Brahmin, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras. These Sudras were imposed lot of social disabilities. So automatically, these people were not enjoying the good position in the social ladder in that period. So Shankaracharya wanted to see that these lower class people will also get good position in the Hinduism. They can enjoy the good status. Actually, these lower class people in that period, as they were not given due respect they were converting into Buddhism. So Buddhism opposed the caste system. Buddhism opposed the caste system. So here actually they wanted to save the Hindu religion from the menace of Buddhism, not Islam. Okay? Alvars, Nayanars, and one person saying Vishnu is great, other person saying Shiva is great. Okay? Yes. It is with regard to the first phase of Bhakti movement, and Saint Ramanujacharya is one among them. And why his statue is named as Statue of Equality? Because, of course, just now I told you, these, Sudras are lower class people have been facing many social, disabilities, like they were not allowing to enter temples. They are not allowed to draw the water from common well. Okay? Yes. So he strived to see that lower class people will also occupy the good position. It is the reason why the statue is termed as Statue of Equality. And one point you have to remember, as far as Shankaracharya is concerned, he has said that lower class people should inculcate the habit of the upper class people, such that they can occupy the good position. Means asking them to practice the hygiene and health. Okay? Yes, that concept is called as the Aryanization or Sanskritization. What is Aryanization or Sanskritization? Lower class people inculcating the habits of the upper class. So actually why it is called as Aryans, it is said that Aryans were the people having the good culture, Samskriti, good culture. Okay? Yes. Now, again you are having the, actually this Saint Ramanuja has inspired the coming Bhakti saints. Next generation, Bhakti saints. So it is the second phase of Bhakti movement. You are having Guru Nanak and Ramdev, Tukaram, Mirabai, many people. Okay. So here in the second phase, these Bhakti saints wanted to create a harmonious relation between Hindus and Muslims. One thing. And the second thing, even they too try to uplift the backward classes or depressed classes, and even the Shudras also. And we have to remember, many Bhakti saints in this period came from the, lower classes. So I think last year's UPSC main, they asked about the contribution of these Bhakti saints to the literature, if I am not wrong. But one question came from these Bhakti saints. And they propagated their ideology in vernacular language, that is local language. And even their literature is also in the local language. Okay? Yeah. So here the reason is menace of Islam, and even to give due status for the lower class people. And again, what happened parallelly, even there is Sufism. Of course, Sufism is a reform movement in the Islam. Sufism is a reform movement in the Islam. Even they wanted to create a harmonious relation between Hinduism. They are not religious by gods. Even they have changed the orthodox practices. They have inculcated like music in the concept of worshipping the prophet. Summon music. Okay. Yes. Of course, again, even in the 19th century, we are having the reform movement in India. As far as Hinduism is concerned, and Rajaram Mohan Roy is the pioneer of that Renaissance or reform movement. And here their aim was to save Hinduism or Hindu Dharma. And even there is also reform movement in the Islam, like Aligarh movement, etc. They wanted to put an end to the social evils existing in their religion and also in Indian society. Like as far as Hinduism is concerned, we were having sati, child marriages, and widow remarriage was not recognized, etc. And as far as Islam is concerned, parda system and polygamy, etc. So you have to have an idea about these three phases of the Bhakti movement: first phase, second phase, and third phase. And so easily you can address the question which appears in your mains exam or even in the prelims. Okay? Yes. Okay. Now, so 216 feet tall statue of equality commemorating Sri Ramanujacharya was recently dedicated to the nation. Of course, Honorable Prime Minister has graced that occasion. The statue has been inaugurated at Hyderabad, a place called as Muchintal. Hyderabad, in the backdrop of celebration of Festival of Equality marking the 1000th birth anniversary of the saint. Definitely, You may expect some questions on this Ramanujacharya or Madhavacharya or Shankaracharya. Okay? Yeah. The statue has been conceptualized by Sri Chinnajiyar Swami of Sri Ramanujacharya Ashram in Hyderabad only. Okay? It's made of Panchaloha. Actually, Panchaloha is nothing but a combination of 5 metals. All the ancient statues which are not with, which are not made with stone are generally made with the Panchaloha. Okay? Even if when we are, establishing a temple or giving, life to idol, in Sanskrit it is called as Prana Pratishtha. Below that statue, you will keep these 5 metals and Navadanyas. Okay? It is having scientific reason. It is made of Panchaloha, a combination of 5 metals, gold, silver, copper, brass and zinc, and is among one of the tallest metallic statues in sitting position in the world. If I am not wrong, it is the second. It is the second. And you have to remember which is the first. Anybody? Which is the first? Which is the first hand? Even I too don't know. If you know means let me know. So it is how the questions will appear. And it is the second tallest sitting statue. Try to get the information about the first statue. Yes. It is mounted on a 54 feet high base building. So this base building is having many stories. One is library, etc., etc. Huh? Sitting. So first is it seems Buddha statue at Thailand. And first is sitting Buddha statue at Thailand. This is the second one. Named, okay. 54 feet high base building named Bhadravedi. See, actually they will give all the statements in the examination. You know Statue of Equality, you know, Saint Ramanujacharya. You may not know these things. You have to keep in mind. Bhadravedi, and has floors devoted for a library, ancient Indian text, theatre, and a gallery detailing works of Sri Ramanujacharya. So above this building, that statue was erected. Now, about Sri Ramanujacharya. Born in Tamil Nadu in the 11th century, Ramanujacharya is revered as a Vedic philosopher and social reformer. So this point is very important. Because of social reformer only, honoring his 1000th birthday, we have erected the Statue of Equality. If he is only philosopher means no question of Statue of Equality. Yeah. Contributions of Sri Ramanujacharya as a philosopher. He was deeply influenced by the Alvars. Alvars means the follower of Vishnu or Vaishnavism. Nayanars, Shiva. Okay? He was deeply influenced by the Alvars, Vishnu worshippers. And according to him, the best means of attaining salvation was through intense devotion to Vishnu. See, according to Hindu tradition or Hindu mythology, salvation is very important. In whatever manner, take the example of Buddha, enlightenment, and Vardhamana Mahavira, penance, strict, penance, Sallekanam. Every, religion or, denomination are having their own methods of attaining the salvation, which is the ultimate goal of a life. Okay? Yes, in Sanskrit called as moksha. Salvation was through intense devotion to Vishnu. That is, praying to Vishnu or worshipping Vishnu, etc. He propounded the doctrine of Vishishtadvaita or qualified oneness, that is single God, qualified oneness, qualified, best oneness, that is sufficient. Ramanuja revived the Bhakti movement and his preachings, Bhakti movement which was started by the Shankaracharya, followed by Madhavacharya, Mr. Ramanujacharya. And his preachings inspired other Bhakti schools of thought. So just now I told you, after his period, many people got inspiration and even they too started the Bhakti movement, including the Mirabai, Ramdas, etc. Inspired other Bhakti schools of thought. He is considered to be the inspiration for poets like Annamacharya, Bhakt Ramdas, Tyagaraja, Kabir, and Mirabai. You know, Mirabai was the staunch devotee of Lord Krishna. Arthamainda? And she used to call, Lord Krishna as, she worshipped Lord Krishna in the name of Mirabai. Mirabai worshipped Lord Krishna in the name of, because for you people, everybody, history is over, and everybody, of course, excluding the new students who have joined in the recent days. Online students, Mirabai worshipped Krishna with what name? Many students are in the live class. Let me know the answer. So this is how you people are preparing for examination. If, in spite of completion of syllabus, in spite of availability of recorded videos in your application, in spite of institute material, in spite of myself asking you the question repeatedly, this is how you are preparing. And okay, Giridhari Lal, you can check it. And her guru was Ravidas. Okay, and she is the daughter-in-law of the great Rajput ruler Rana Sangram Singh or Rana Sanga, who got defeated in the hands of Babur in the battle of in the battle of in the battle of Kanwa, in the battle of Kanwa. Yes, even she considered Lord Krishna as her husband. It is also correct. Okay. Yes, Mr. Shivshankar. ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. Yes. Now, so when you come to the Annamacharya, he is a popular, Telugu person. He used to write and sing the hymns praising Sri Lord Venkateshwara. Okay? Yes. And now, he wrote 9 scriptures known as the Navaratnas, including Sri Bhashya, Gita Bhashya, and Vedanta Sangraha, and composed commentaries on Vedic scriptures. So, you should have a command on these books, and even you may get these books in the mains, who knows? Of course, as far as UPSC is concerned, it is just like swimming in the ocean. You will never touch the boundaries. And you people will not even swim a tank also. You know, tank? A small water body is called as tank. Okay? Yes. Okay. Now, he is also credited with establishing the correct procedures for rituals performed in temples throughout India, the most famous being Tirumala and Srirangam. See, the Vaishnava followers, the Vaishnavites are strict in the procedure in performing sacrifices and rituals and even daily prayers to the god. And this, the followers of Shiva, little bit less and very less. And even they will say that, and Lord Shiva requires only 1 tumbler of water, that is sufficient for him. Okay. If you go to the Tirupati, early morning Suprabhata Seva, so that procedure is made by, Ramanujacharya. Even this Srirangam is also having a famous Vishnu temple on the bank of river Kaveri, and may be considered by Nayak rulers of Tamil Nadu. Okay? Yes. Contributions of Sri Ramanujacharya as an advocate of social equality. He encouraged temples to open their doors to everyone, irrespective of caste or position in society. That is very important. So actually what happened? Many social disabilities were imposed on the people based on caste. Our bad luck is even up today also, everything centers around caste and religion, in spite of highly civilized people. Okay? Yeah. He encouraged temples to open their doors to everyone, irrespective of caste or position in society. Earlier, what happened? Lower class people were not allowed to enter into the temple. Even in the modern India, also, you are having many movements like temple entry movement. Even Mahatma Gandhi will also initiate that movement. And before him, Narayana Guru in Kerala, Sri Narayana Paripalana Yagam Dharmam. Okay, and many reformers, like you are having the Jyotirao Phule, and even Maharaja of Kolhapur, Sahu Maharaj, will make a legislation that non-Brahmin can perform the pujas in the temple. And even he will also make reservations for the depressed classes. Sahu Maharaj, Maharaja of Kolhapur. You are having the Justice Party with the demands of depressed classes. And even, specifically, Harijan movement started by Mahatma Gandhi after Pune Pact. Honoring all these, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has enshrined Article 17 in the fundamental rights, which is only the negative right in the fundamental rights chapter, Article 17. Okay? Yes. He also asked royal courts to treat them as equals. Royal courts. I will tell you one example. Take the example of Peshwa. Peshwa never recruited the lower class people, especially Mahars, into his army. What happened? That Mahars were recruited by the English East India Company. And finally, what happened? These Mahars will defeat the Peshwa army in the Koregaon war. Okay? Yes. Now, he worked tirelessly towards liberating millions from social, cultural, gender, educational, and economic discrimination. So now also everywhere discrimination. Haves, have not. The discrimination has not ended. Bad luck is economic concentration has increased. 10% of people in India are holding 90% of assets, maybe 99 in course of time. Who knows? Who knows? You can see in COVID-19, the lower middle class people are facing a lot of trouble, whereas top class, their assets has increased multifold. Nifty in COVID-19 time, it was only 7,000. Now it is 17,000. Means at least some states have increased by 3 or 4 times. Automatically, their assets have increased multifold times. So till today, we are having various types of inequalities. Okay? Yes. The foundational conviction that every human is equal regardless of nationality. Regardless of nationality, gender, race, caste or creed. Yes, all human beings are same and all enjoy the same natural rights. This concept of natural rights was first proposed by the Greek, philosophers like Socrates, etc. Okay? Yes. And even take the example of Rabindranath Tagore. He is the profounder of the internationalism. He opposed the nationality. You have to remember that also. Rabindranath Tagore opposed the nationality concept. He supported the internationalism. That point you have to remember. Now, propounded the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. Originally in Maha Upanishad, it is mentioned in the word Vasudhaiva Kutumbam is mentioned in the Maha Upanishad, which translates as all the universe is one family. Total world is of one family. Okay? His guru honored him with the covenanted title Emperor on Honor, meaning you are a head of us, beyond gurus. Sri Ramanuja named subjugated classes Tirukulatar. Who are subjugated classes? Depressed classes, meaning born divine. The same thing Mahatma Gandhi termed the depressed class people of the Harijans, the sons of Lord Vishnu. So, Tirukulatar meaning born divine. So, last class we were talking about the Tirukural and we were talking about the Tirukural. And who wrote that book, Tirukural? Last Saturday only, of course, before last Saturday was holiday because of Ugadi. Who wrote the book Tirukural or Kural? It is Tiruvallurvar and not Tiruttakkadevar. It is Tiruvallurvar. 15 days ago in this class we have discussed. Arthamainda? Tiruvallurvar. Tiruvallurvar. Tirukular or Kural by Tiruvallurvar. You watched the 15 days ago's video. We have discussed everything. Many points we are covering in this class such that our old students who are not having access to app can enjoy the classes. Because as soon as 1 year completes, the Class Plus people will remove the app. So it would be benefit for them to watch these videos. We are covering a lot of points and everything we are revising. Okay, no issue. And now he spoke of universal salvation through devotion to God, compassion, humility, equality, and mutual respect, which is known as Sri Vaishnavam Sampradayam. So compassion means to help somebody, having affection towards other. It is called as compassion, like sympathy, etc. Okay, yes. And he was see one person, just to revise, because for many people history is over, and even on the online class, though they are new to our institution, for them also, I mean, they might be having the knowledge of history. One person, because of his abnormal compassion, earned a title. One great Hindu king, because of his abnormal compassion, earned a title. What is the name of that king? What is the name of that king? Anybody? Janvita Reddy or somebody new persons? It is Anukempavan, earned by Samudragupta. Anukempavan, earned by Samudragupta. You have to make short notes. It is how to add the subject. Instantaneously, nobody will get the subject. It is a long journey. Cracking UPSC or state service, it will be a long journey. Okay? Anukempavan, held by Samudragupta. Okay? As he donated the revenue of few villages for the maintenance of a Buddhist monastery constructed by Sri Lankan king at Bodh Gaya. You people are sleeping, old students. What you are doing? In spite of several repetitions by myself, and you can watch our videos n number of times. At present, no restrictions on. N number of watching the videos. In future, I don't know what these class plus people will do. Even they may also impose that restriction also 2 times or 3 times, like other app owners. Then what you will do? Okay, Andy, no issue. Yes, very nice. Okay. Now, see, universal salvation. So, liberation of soul is called as salvation. In Sanskrit, moksha. Every saint's purpose was to teach the method of salvation. Even nowadays also, you can see early morning in the TVs, how to release your stress. Pandit Ravi Shankar, Astra channel, Baba Ramdev. See, nowadays the people are having more stress. The reason is more hungry for wealth. You will be never satisfied with the positions which you are enjoying. More hungry for wealth. Over stress. Okay. He was also believed to be an environmentalist. This point is very important. Now we are giving lot of importance for environment. Earlier, nobody, before 1970, 1980s, nobody talked about the environment. But we Indians, from time immemorial, we talked about the environment because we worship the environment, Mother Goddess. Primitive animism, we worship nature. We worship trees like Tulsi tree. Many trees we have worshipped. All trees. Okay? Yes. He was also believed to be an environmentalist, as they appealed for the protection of nature and its resources like air, water, and soil. Why is it called the Statue of Equality? The same thing, Andy, as he strived for the upliftment of the depressed classes. And Ramanuja was an advocate of social equality among all sections of people centuries ago, and encouraged temples to open their doors to everyone, irrespective of caste or position in society, at a time when people of many castes were forbidden from entering them. He took education to those who were deprived of it, because in that period, in the ancient India, educational institutions were called as, last time, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it was a UPSC prelims question. In ancient period, what is the name of the education institutions? Online students. Only one person, 2 persons, and 3 persons. Yes, Vincent, correct. So, Gatikas, Gatikas. It is how to add the subject. It is not our academics. Academics, 10 chapters, first 3, last 3. Exam over. Definitely you will get through the examination. And automatically you will also get job in private sector. Now there is boom, and of course, yesterday's RBI policy says that we may face some sort of backdrop in the economy because of geopolitical tensions. And the second reason is abnormal rise in the prices of steel and also crude oil and even the edible oil. Many commodities prices has increased like anything. Steel has doubled, almost all doubled, 50 to 85 within 2 months. And it is not a healthy economy. Inflation will decrease the purchasing capacity of the people. Just 1 month ago, petrol was 100. Now it is 120. Only God knows when it will crosses 150. Now crude oil is not. Um, the price of crude oil is not decreasing in the international market. We are helpless, and we are the net importers of the crude oil. Okay, because of our standard of living, we will use more crude oil. Everybody will come to the institute in the bikes, even though their house is just a throwaway distance from our institution. Okay? Yes. Yes, my dears. Okay. Now, he took education to those who were deprived of it. His greatest contribution is the propagation of the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbam, which translates as all the universe is one family. See, as soon as we become 3 or 4 years, in the early age, of course, we lack the communication skills. After 2 years, we will come to know about the communication. See, at that point, we don't know about any religion or caste. So our life should be in that manner. How we were in 3 years, 4 years. And as our age grows, our ego increases. And our self-centric ideology increases. That is what happening. Vasudhaiva Kutumbam, everybody should be happy, and in that happiness we should live. Okay? Yes. Now you can see many people, abnormal, rich people, they are searching for the happiness, and some people, in spite of abnormal wealth, they are committing suicides for no reason. For no reason. Earlier, this kind of things have never happened. Okay. He traveled across India for several decades. Propagating his ideas of social equality and universal brotherhood from temple podium. See, India is great. Of course, not only our Ramanujacharya. Take the example of Akbar. Akbar also propagated the universal brotherhood. What is the religion started by Akbar to achieve the same? To achieve the same. ఏమైందండి? Oh, sorry. What happened? So, Dinni Hilai, it means in it is Sulekul. Okay? So, that is the greatness of India. Even many Islam rulers, they tried to achieve the Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. You see the NCRT book, the chapter dealing with the Mughals. There was a motive depicting a lion and lamb sitting side by side, which says that they strived for peace. That should be the goal of our world, and not only India, all our world countries. But we are not following that. Take the example of Russia-Ukraine crisis. You can see the satellite map of how Ukraine was destroyed and how many people died. And what is the final achievement? Nothing. So even this slogan holds good today. There is no doubt in it, because it was also followed by Islam rulers like Akbar. Okay, in the NCRT book, you can see the motif of lion and lamb sitting side by side. Okay, yes. Now, see, if there is peace, if total world is a single family, then there is no need of a pistol or allocation of money for the defense purposes. Take the example of India. Nearly maybe 1.5 lakh crores will be allocated for defense every year. If total world is considered as single family, then there is no need of any defense allocation. All the industries which are manufacturing these weapons, MiGs and Rafale jets will be subjected to closure. Of course, they don't want to do that. They wanted to see that their weapons will have a good market. That is, I think that is what happening. Okay. Now, he embraced the socially marginalized and condemned and asked royal courts to treat them as equal. He spoke of universal salvation through devotion to God. Of course, we have studied this. So this is about the, Ramanujacharya. Yeah. In recent days, Bamiyan Buddha is in news. Just tell me what is meant by Bamiyan Buddha, or that Bamiyan Buddha is related to which country? Just which country is sufficient? I will be happy. Anybody from online? Live online? Yes, Afghanistan, and so it is a statue, uh, two statues of Gautam Buddha belonging to the Kanishka period. Okay. Earlier in 1990s, Taliban have destroyed that statue because it is against their ideology. Taliban will oppose the idol worship. Even Islam will also oppose the idol worship. They have desecrated that statues with the help of cannons. Now, in recent days, they said that we are not going to touch that statue. Now, we will not destroy them. They have changed their mind. So, at least you have to remember what is Bamiyan Buddha. And there are two Buddha statues with two different mudras. You know what is mudras? Mudras is generally with the hand gesture of the Gautam Buddha. Hand gestures. Hand gestures. Of course, we have discussed various mudras in our regular classes. Okay. Bhumiputra Mudra. Bhumiputra Mudra is famous. Okay. Abhaya Mudra. Okay. ఇలా ఉంటుంది. Okay. Yes, my dears. Okay. Within 10 minutes, this concept will be over. Recently, the Taliban regime in Afghanistan has said it would protect the ancient Buddha statues in Mes Ainak. Mes Ainak is also the site of a copper mine where the Taliban are hoping for Chinese investment. You know, wherever there are good mines, China will go. Okay. Then China will go automatically. I don't know. The Sri Lankan people are saying that because of China only we are suffering, so much of crisis. Of course, I read in the papers. Of course, I am not supporter of any country or opposer of any country. Now you know what is the condition of Sri Lanka, and even you can see in the Pakistan unstable governments. There is a logjam between Supreme Court and the Parliament of Pakistan, and Supreme Court has ordered for the no confidence motion should be done. Okay? Yes. Okay. For hoping, sir, okay, are hoping for Chinese investment. See now, as soon as American army left the Afghanistan, Taliban have reoccupied. You can read in the newspapers the plight of common people in that Afghanistan. They are unable to survive. Rich people, big buildings are occupied by these Taliban, and they are begging in the streets. And we should be very happy to be Indian. From time immemorial, almost all we are peace, and we are peace lovers. And even it is clear from the non-aligned movement where our Jawaharlal Nehru has played a key role. And even earlier also, our kings are not invaders. They have not invaded the foreign countries, barring few incidences like our Cholas invaded Sri Lanka, and Guptas, it is said that they will try to occupy the Southeast Asia. But Guptas, just there was cultural assimilation. And after all, when these Mughals tried to occupy this Afghanistan, it is part and parcel of Indian subcontinent, because our Chandragupta Maurya ruled that region, and even Ashoka also, which is revealed from the Kandahar inscription, which is a bilingual inscription. Okay? Yes, okay. The Taliban's position is in marked contrast to the time they ruled Afghanistan earlier. Earlier, they damaged statue. Now, they are saying that we are not going to damage that. When in the face of global outrage, they brought down the centuries-old Buddha statues in Bamiyan using artillery, explosives, and rockets in that period. I don't know what happiness they got by using these explosive rockets, artillery. The same thing might have been used for good purposes. Okay? Yes. So now, actually, what happens in UPSC prelims? You may get the question. Mess Ainak is famous for iron ore, copper ore, silver ore, gold mines. They may not ask this Buddha. They will go in this direction. Okay? Yes. What is background of Taliban destruction of Bamiyan? The hardline Taliban movement, which emerged in the early 1990s, was in control of almost 90% of Afghanistan by the end of the decade. They are staunch followers of Islam. Even they will not allow the girls to go to school. Yes, we can see in the newspapers. Even they will not allow the women to participate in the sports also. Okay? While their governance supposedly curbed lawlessness, they also introduced so-called Islamic punishments and a regressive idea of Islamic practices, which included banning television, public executions, and lack of schooling for girls aged 10 and above. Of course, it may be true earlier days, but so there should not be any gender-based discrimination, any caste-based discrimination. Everything should grow up in a level playing field. That is very important. Based on its performance, it will grow up. The destruction of the Bamiyan Buddha was part of this extremist culture because they opposed the idol worship. On 27 February 2001, the Taliban declared its intention to destroy the statues. What is the statues after destruction? In 2003, UNESCO included the remains of Bamiyan Buddha in its list of World Heritage Sites. And we have discussed in India there are more than 40 World Heritage Sites, or more than 40 which are in the list of World Heritage Sites. And even we also discussed the procedure in the last classes. New students can go through the old videos. Now, on 9th March 2021, the statue of Salsal was recreated, that is Buddha statue. A 3D projection was beamed at the corner where it had stood. What are Bamiyan Buddhas? So joint Buddhas, and they are in different mudras. Just now I told you, mudra is the hand gesture of Gautam Buddha. Legacy of the Bamiyan Buddhas. The Bamiyan Buddha statues cut from sandstone cliffs are said to have dated back to the 5th century AD and were once the tallest standing Buddhas in the world. In their Roman draperies, means clothes, and with two different mudras. The statues were great examples of a confluence of Gupta, Sasanian, and Hellenistic artistic styles. Gupta's India, Sasanian Persian, Hellenistic Greek. It is a combination of all cultures and called Salasal and Shamana by the locals. They rose to heights of 55 and 38 meters, respectively. Salsal means light shines through the universe, while Shamama is Queen Mother. Try to remember this. Salsal means light shines through the universe. Shamama is Queen Mother. It might be their language. Significance. Bamiyan is situated in the high mountains of the Hindu Kush in the central highlands of Afghanistan. And you know, Himalayas are named in different manner in different places. In Afghanistan, Hindu Kush. In Pakistan, Suleiman. In China, Kunlun. In India and Nepal, Himalayas. Okay? Yeah. The valley, which is set along the line of the Bamiyan River. And you see, it is on the bank of river Bamiyan. And Bamiyan is the name of a river. That you have to remember. Bamiyan is a river. Was once integral to the early days of Silk Roads. I told you, Kanishka. Kanishka is the last ruler in India to have dominance on the Silk Road. And even in the last class also, we have discussed, and I mean in the regular classes, Silk Road passed through which pass? Karakoram Pass. That is also very important. Kanishka is the last ruler of India to have ruled the Karakoram Pass. That is also very important. Karakoram Pass. Yes. When the Buddhist Kushan Empire spread, Kushan Empire is none other than the Kanishka Nadi. And as far as India is concerned, who are to be considered as the founders of Kushan Empire? Kanishka is a successor. Before Kanishka, who is considered to be the founder of the Kushana Empire, who will occupy the northwest regions, to some of the northwest regions. Kadphis is one or Kozula Kadphises. Okay? And these tribes, Kushanas are also called as Tocharians. Arthamainda? Yuchi or Tocharians. Yuchi or Tocharians. You are having Kadphis is one, followed by Bhima Kadphises, again Kanishka. And even we have discussed the coins of Bhima Kadphises had the portraits of, he was a follower of Shiva, trident, bull. We have discussed. Okay? Yes. Okay. Now, when the Buddhist Kushana Empire spread, acting as a crucible of sorts, so Bamiyan became a major trade, cultural, and religious center. As China, India, and Rome sought passage through Bamiyan, the Kushanas were able to develop a syncretic culture. Syncretic means combination of various cultures is called as syncretic. Synthesis, combination of many theses, synthesis. In the rapid spread of Buddhism between the 1st to 5th centuries AD, Bamiyan's landscape reflected the faith, especially in the monistic qualities. The two colossal Buddhas were only a part of several other structures, such as stupas, smaller seated and standing Buddhas, and wall paintings in caves spread in and around surrounding valleys. Of course, there are many structures and constructions related to Gautam Buddha in the Bamiyan Valley. So we shall collect few things about the Buddhism, and it is Mr. Gautam Buddha was the founder of the Buddhism, and okay, and he opposed the caste system, and he also opposed the dualistic philosophy, soul and body. Okay, and you know, in course of time, Buddhism was divided into three: Mahayana, Hinayana, and Vajrayana. Okay, and even many kings patterned Buddhism, including Ashoka, Harsha, Palas of Bengal. They are the founders of Vajrayanism. Yeah, Buddhism is 2500 years old. It is one of the important religions of South and Southeastern Asian countries. Buddhism arose as a result of Siddhartha Gautama's quest for enlightenment in around 6th century BC. There is no belief in a personal God. It is not centered on the relationship between humanity and God. Buddhists believe that nothing is fixed or permanent. Change is always possible. And even they said that human beings are like composite things. How this market destroys, our life will destroy. There is no question of any body or soul, no question of any dualistic philosophy. The two main Buddhist sects are Theravada Buddhism and Mahayana. But there are many, and yes, Jain Buddhism, Vajrayana, Hinayana, Mahayana, and Kala Chakra is the famous ritual of Vajrayanism, but followed by every sect of Buddhism today. The path to enlightenment is through the practice and development of morality, meditation, and wisdom. To attain the salvation, okay? So Gautam Buddha preached the Madhyama Marga. Madhyama Marga, that is very important. No question of extremes. No high, no low. Take the example of Vardhamana Mahavira Jainism. It is too tough and penance. Whereas Gautam Buddha, only morals, ethics. And even he observed only meditation. And he asked his followers to follow the Ashtangika Marga to get the salvation. The religion is based upon the teachings, life experience of founder Siddhartha Gautam. He was born as 563 BC and died in 483 BC. He was born into the royal family of Sakya clan, who ruled from Kapilavastu. What is the father name of, Gautam Buddha? What is the father name of Gautam Buddha? Madam Anjana. What is the father name of Gautam Buddha? Online students. Okay, Andy. So this is how you people are studying, Andy. Only Bhagavati, Swati are able to answer. So in front of me, many people are there for whom history is completed. And what is the use of myself repeating their subject time and again? Suddhodana. Suddhodana. Okay? ठीक है, no issue, Andy. Who ruled from, he was a petty king in Lumbini, which is situated near the Indo-Nepal border. At the age of 29, Gautama left home and rejected his life of riches and embraced a lifestyle of asceticism or extreme self-discipline. After 49 consecutive days of meditation, at what age Gautam Buddha will attain the enlightenment? I want the age. At what age Gautam Buddha attained the enlightenment? Age of Buddha when he got enlightenment. Class. Yes, Bhagavati, Akila, Swati, 35 years, at the age of 35 years. Understand? Whereas Vardhamana Mahavira, if I am not wrong, 42 years. Vardhamana Mahavira at the age of 42 years. Okay? Yes, no issue. And Gautam Buddha observed meditation, whereas Vardhamana Mahavira penance. Gautama attained Bodhi, enlightenment under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya, a village in Bihar. On the bank of which river? Bodh Gaya is on the bank of which river? Anybody? Bodh Gaya is on the bank of which river? Class 7 kodta. Yes, Rahul, Bhagavati, Swati, Akila. Niranjana or Falguni. So we have compared even the places of Jainism and also Buddhism. So these are all basic things, Andy, which are in the NCERT, which are in our institute material, and we have discussed in our classes several times. Okay, no issue, Andy, no issue. Okay. Now, Buddha gave his first sermon in the village of Sarnath near the city of Benares in UP. This event is known as Dharma Chakra Pravartana, we have discussed turning of wheel of law, and that wheel is in the Ashok Chakra. And that Ashok Chakra and that Sarnath pillar we have taken for our national emblem. How many lions are in our national emblem, Anjana Garu? How many lions are in our national emblem? Tension madakku. Don't feel tension. How many lions? 5 lions in our national emblem, not 4 and 4 in the capital, 1 on the abacus. Bull, horse, elephant, lion. BHEL. You remember our PSU, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, BHEL. Okay? No issue. Okay. Of course, we have discussed everything in our regular classes. He died at the age of 80 in 483 BC at a place called Kushinagara, a town in UP. Okay, Kushinagara is the capital of which republic? Kushinagara is the capital of which Mahajanapada? In 6th century BC, we are having the 16 Mahajanapadas. Malla Republic. Gautam Buddha died at Kushinagara. It is one of the capital of the Malla Republic. And Vardhamana Mahavira died at Pavapuri. It is also the second capital of the Malla Republic. And again, Alexander was also wounded in this Malla Republic only. Because of that wound, he died in course of time at Babylonia. Okay, my dears? Yes, this is all about your Bhumian Buddha son. Yeah. So actually, in the recent days, NGT. What is the full form of NGT? NGT. NGT. Okay. National Green Tribunal said that the laws with regard to groundwater usage made in 2020 are not up to the mark, and it said that the laws should be changed. Now, why groundwater is in focus? See, earlier when I was maybe 9 years or 8 years or 10 years, that is now I am 49, 40 years ago, we used to swim in the wells in my hometown and also in the grandmother's hometown, or wherever I go, there were wells. Can you see now wells? No. You see, on the Indian currency note, you are having a stepped well, Ranika Wow. Okay. Stepped wells were common in all parts of India. Even we had one stepped well in our field. Now we are having field, but no stepped well. In that stepped well, a boring, a rig. So what is happening? Day by day, groundwater is getting depleted. One thing, because of over exploitation, because of increase of population, because of our irrigation based agriculture. See, now we people will consume the paddy and wheat. Paddy is a irrigated intensive crop. It is said that for 1 kg of paddy, it requires, it needs nearly more than, 1000 liters of water. Earlier, people consume the millets. Millets are grown without irrigation. Whatever may be the millet, even jawar is grown without irrigation. You are having bajra, many millets. Now, what happened? The intake of irrigated crops by us has increased. Take the example of sugarcane. 1 kg of sugar needs maybe 5,000 or 6,000 liters of water. So, what we are doing? We are digging the bore wells and we are using for the same. Second thing, many states are giving free power to farmers. Of course, I am not opposing the free power to farmers. The system should change. We have to shift to the non-irrigated crops, like Punjab, Haryana governments are giving incentives to the farmers only who are growing non-irrigated crops, because the water is depleting like anything. Yeah, sugarcane, 2,500 liters of water, and rice, 5,000 liters of water. We have discussed in our last class economics in the irrigation topic. Understand? And again, rapid industrialization. Industries will also use the water. The second thing is, industries will also pollute the groundwater by releasing their polluted effluents. Now take the example of rapid urbanization. Our drainage, sewage, sewage is also damaging the groundwater and also nearby rivers. Take the example of Hyderabad Musi River. To what extent it has damaged? Take the example of India's national river, that is Ganga. Government is unable to clean it. Okay? Yes, that topic we are going to discuss. According to National Green Tribunal, the new guidelines issued in 2020, just 1 year ago, are insufficient to address groundwater crisis. It is an important constant. Without water, nobody can survive. Okay? Yes. Central Groundwater Board had notified. Actually, Central Groundwater Board is the agency to look into that matter, and it works under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Had notified new guidelines on groundwater extraction to be effective from September 24, 2020, after the 2018 guidelines were scrapped by National Green Tribunal for being unsustainable. So, National Green Tribunal's aim is to see that environment is not depleted, such that we will have a sustainable development. Our future generation will not be deprived of their needs. However, recently, objections have also been raised by NGT to the guidelines, as guidelines issued by the Ministry of Jal Shakti do not satisfy directions given by it repeatedly and persistently. India, of course, there are many laws with many flaws, and guidelines do not address the root cause and central issue, that is protection and preservation of ground. Both are important. You have to preserve and also protect. So that they are not stressing on that two issues. 2020 guidelines for groundwater regulation. You may expect this question in the prelims and also main. Mandatory requirement of applying for NOC, no objection certificate, for new and existing industries, group housing societies, and private water supply tankers. NOC should be there. Of course, for our domestic purpose, no need of any NOC. Now, NOC holders to pay groundwater charges, which are called as the user charges, based on quantum and based on their usage, either domestic or semi-commercial or commercial. On quantum extraction, unlike old provision where they had to pay a nominal lump sum. Now, earlier nominal lump sum, irrespective of quantity. Earlier, now no irrespective. Based on the quantity utilized by you, you have to pay the, like our current meters. If you use more, we have to pay more. For farmers, only slab 50 rupees. Earlier that was the case, and earlier lump sum amount. Now quantity based charging. No NAC to industry in overexploited area. Earlier, installation of sewage treatment plants. It is very important for big housing societies. Take the example of Pragati Nagar, which is very near to our institute building in Hyderabad. There they are having the sewage plant. Sewage plant. The drainage is treated and it is mixed with the river water. Rooftop rainwater harvesting. This is very important. We will have roof, we will have top, but no question of water harvesting. Government should mandate before permitting the apartments or houses they have constructed. It should be mandatory for the apartments to have this rooftop rainwater harvesting. Now, what is happening? This rainwater, which is pure water, is going and mixing with the drainage water, and it is rendering no use. Now, categories exempted from NOC requirement include domestic consumers, rural drinking water supply schemes, armed forces establishments like cantonment boards and central armed forces, agricultural activities, MSMEs drawing 10 cubic meter per day, they are also exempted. Why? MSMEs are now called as the engines of growth in India. Now, penalty between rupees 50,000 and rupees 10 lakh for non-compliance, water prevention of depletion, and effective attempt for recharge and restoration. Even, penalty is also imposed. Now, groundwater extraction in India. See, we are one of the largest extractors of groundwater because our monsoons are gambling. They are uncertain. Our rainfall is uncertain. Second thing is overpopulation. Third thing is we will grow the crops which need irrigation. Automatically, we are forced to exploit the water. And the other reason is many farmers are given the power free of cost. Automatically, they will on the board and they will go. Not all farmers, few farmers may misuse that provision. India uses the most groundwater in the world, accounting for approximately 25% of the global groundwater extraction. 25% of the global groundwater extraction. According to Central Groundwater Board, survey of 6584 groundwater units, they are having their own unit system. 1034 units were found to be overexploited, means more than recharged. More extracted than recharged. 253 critical. Extraction is 90 and 100% of what's recharged. So, in future, you cannot tap that water. They will get dried up. 681 as semi-critical. Extraction 70 to 90%. Groundwater extraction in India is primarily for irrigation in agricultural activities, accounting for 90% of annual groundwater extraction. You have to remember such kind of stats to address your main son. Just now I told you the reason is we are depending on the irrigational crops and why we should not switch over to millets, which are, of course, carbohydrates are needed. This rice is also needed, but we have to minimize that. Instead of eating 1 kg, go for 250 grams and support the remaining with the other millets. Yes, industrial use accounts for about 5% of the annual groundwater extraction, and the remaining 5% of extraction is for drinking and domestic purposes. Causes of high groundwater extraction in India: irrigation, high industrialization, high standard of living, and no question of treatment of sewage and sewage such that we can use it for industrial purposes. Okay? Inadequate rainfall, lower amount of respiration and precipitation occurring in short bursts. See, if groundwater has to be recharged, the rainfall should be, should occur very slowly and for a long time. Then only the water will percolate into the subsurface. Short burst, heavy short burst, what happened? The water will drain to some other area. So no question of groundwater recharge. Short burst does not allow for recharge of aquifers. What is aquifer? An aquifer is a body which will yield the water. That is called as aquifer, where it will have the porosity and permeability. A rock strata having both porosity and permeability is called as a aquifer, and it will yield the water whenever you dug a borewell. That point you have to remember. Yes. For instance, in Central India, green revolution, owing to green revolution, water intensive crops could be grown in water deficit region. Now, earlier what happened? Rice was confined to only few regions, and even technology is also responsible. Earlier, we were not having the concept of tube well. Many villages were deprived of electricity. Now, every field is having electricity, every person is having the bore well. They will dig the bore well and exploit the water. Yes. For instance, the case of paddy in north and northwest India. Yes. Earlier, paddy was confined to South India. Now, everywhere and paddy. So, automatically, it will be a huge burden or stress on the groundwater. Why they will go paddy? The reason is government will always purchase the paddy, and the farmers are guaranteed that yes, government will come and rescue us. Other items, they may face problem. Increase in demand. This is attributed to multiple factors, including rise in population, which resulted in increased demand for agriculture. Yes, when India got independence in 1947, in 1950s, our agriculture production was 50 to 60 million tons. Now it is 270, increased by 4 or 5 times. Urbanization, which decreased green spaces and also promoted deforestation. So no question of groundwater, and if there is no greenery, everything has become concrete jungle, and water will join with the sewage and sewage. Rise in industries, which resulted in decreased water quality. Why? Industries will release the effluent, which will pollute the groundwater and also nearby rivers. However, the supply could not match the demand. Geomorphological issues. In the central and southern states, there are limited storage. Why? The rock strata is not having the pores, permeability. They cannot store the water. And even lack of rainfall also. Without rainfall, how Thar Desert will be recharged? If in Thar Desert, there occurs say 200 centimeters of rainfall for a period of 4 years, then no question of Thar Desert in our NCERT book. There you will have the evergreen forest. Yes. So here, so because of hard rock strata in the central and southern states, you are not having any water storage. In North India, because of the porous soil and perennial rivers, the groundwater is well and good. But now what happened? You have studied the case of Punjab and Haryana. The groundwater has depleted like anything. The governments are ordering the farmers not to involve in the irrigated crops. Yes. Now, inadequate administration, as water is a state subject. This is very important point. Water is a state subject. No control of center. So it should be made into the concurrent list. Thus, forming a comprehensive law is under the primary domain of states. Also, inadequate regulation encourages over-exploitation of groundwater without any penalty. No supervision. I told you, few farmers just they will on their own bore and come to the house to watch the TV. Not all farmers, few farmers. Water users' behavior. Misuse has been tacitly accepted owing to policies supporting free subsidies on electricity and high MSP for water-intensive crops, especially paddy. Of course, it is not high, but it is viable, and that crop is viable when compared to the other crops. At least they will not face the losses. They will cross the break-even. So now, what you have to do? You have to collect the data. You have to encourage the rain harvesting system, and you should encourage the farmers to grow the non-irrigative crops, and government has to increase the MSP for non-irrigative crops, and loan waiving should be done to the only farmers who are not involved in the irrigated crops. Okay, yeah. So preventing misuse of groundwater in agriculture, measures suggested include on farm water management, techniques and adoption of improved irrigation methods. This improved irrigation methods is the last time UPSC mains question which we have discussed for UPSC main students. Sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation, which are nothing but the micro irrigation. Even you are having the hydroponics, aquaponics, aeroponics. Okay. Implementation of master plan for artificial recharge to groundwater. That is nothing but watershed management. Even in urban areas also, you can use the roof water to recharge groundwater. Revamping agriculture power pricing structure. No question of free power. There should be a slab. Concurrent list. Bringing the subject of water under the concurrent list to help evolve a comprehensive plan of action. So, of course, laws are secondary. First, we should follow. We should not waste the water. A farmer should not waste the water. Again, the government should make a policy such that the farmer himself discourages to grow paddy. That should be the policy. But now such kind of things government is not doing. It is very important. You have to encourage the consumption of millets, which are good for health also. Yes. Water quality management. Steps to minimize and control the dumping of industrial waste into surface water and underground aquifers should also be taken. Just now I told you, industries are polluting the rivers by releasing their effluents without treatment. Now we are unable to treat even our national river Ganga. Then what is about the, you can see the Kaveri. it is also getting polluted. And 3 or 4 years ago, so there was hype in the media, run for Kaveri. And that running was in Bangalore, not near the Kaveri. Of course, I don't know why such kind of things will happen in India. Okay. So this is about today's issues. And next class will start at 9:45 today. Thank you. Thank you for cooperating with me. Thank you. God bless you.